Hello, social workers, mental health professionals, and change agents. Welcome to another episode of the Social Work Rants podcast, season 7 of the podcast. Hope everybody's doing well. Saludos a todos. Greetings, everybody. Thank you for tuning in, tapping in wherever you are watching or listening to this podcast. Hope all is well. Thank you, everybody, for your love and support, for rocking with the podcast. Saludos a todos. Gracias por su apoyo. Apoyando el podcast. This week, going to do something a little different. Last Friday, whatever last Friday's date was, the 20, if tomorrow's going to be the 22nd. So I guess the 15th, September 15th, I went on live and I talked about basically part 2 of Season 2, Episode 26, the school social work drama. Basically, when I worked as a school social worker in the school district that I live in, so that my kids go to, and dealing with a supervisor that I had. So I tell the story. I ran into him at a football game last week, so talk all about that experience after not having any sort of communication at all with him over the last 2 years, and just seeing him, and I'll tell you the reaction to it. Basically, the point of the episode is sometimes we Black and brown folks, especially in social work, got to deal with navigating white spaces, and not saying that there's a lot of Black and brown folks in positions of power, and they with LMSWs, LCSWs, and still don't know what the hell they doing. I experienced that too, and I was quite frank in the story. But just when someone who is not a social worker or doesn't have a social work degree being your superior and making decisions for social work and making wrong decisions or not making decisions that benefit yourself or your coworkers, then it is a problem, and is a problem that exists in our profession. So with that being said, I want to say happy Hispanic Heritage Month, happy Latinx Heritage Month in full effect. We here, estamos aquí. Si se puede, and not only que si se puede, but we've been here, we've been doing it, we've been killing it. Tenemos ganas. We've been here. We're gonna keep being here. We're gonna keep being in these spaces. We need more of us in the social work, mental health profession. And part of why there's not more of us is because of that damn ASWB exam. So this episode is basically talking about my story. So basically, this is the part 2 of the social work drama. Just navigating the spaces that we got to navigate and things that we go through on a daily basis, and just keeping it real. What I try to do best is to keep it real with as much as I can. And before I get into that, I got some good news for you. Before we get into the episode, I got some really, really exciting news. So shout out to everybody who bought Latinx and Social Work Volume 2. It's almost been a year already since the book came out, which is crazy. To think about it, it's almost going to be a full year. And so the book was nominated for the 2023 International Latino Book Award as a finalist for Best Self-Transformation Book in English. So I'm very proud to be a part of that. Shout out to my fellow co-authors. Thank you to Erica Sandoval, the visionary for the Latinx and Social Work book series. There will be a volume 3. So that's in the works. I'm very excited to when I saw this, I actually found this out when I was at InvestFest in Atlanta a few weeks ago. Can't believe that's almost been a month since I went to InvestFest too. So I found that out while I was there, and like, oh, holy crap, how exciting! So, shout out to my fellow co-authors who are amazing. They all of them are way smarter than I am, and for us to be in a book together, sharing our truth, sharing part of our truth in a story in a book for for the world to see, for school social work programs to read and get, and for anybody to get and read our vulnerable stories. I really appreciate it. The book is available. I have limited copies, so you can get them directly from me. I'll put the link in the show notes. You can get your copy, autographed copy from me. And yeah, so I'm very excited with that. I also was featured in Paula McMillan, her podcast. Why don't we talk about that? So that's out. You can go follow her. Go follow Paula. She's amazing. She was one of the authors in Volume 1. Shout out to her for, I guess, giving me my flowers, because she mentioned that she started her podcast thanks to me and my podcast. So to hear that this podcast has actually been inspiring others to do their podcast, that means a lot, and having your peers recognize the work that you're doing. So I appreciate it. I'm going to do this disclaimer before I forget. This episode of the podcast is not intended as a substitute for mental health therapy. Suicide Prevention Month as well. So if you are having any sort of suicidal thoughts, please call 988. Call 911. If you have a therapist, call your therapist. Call your psychiatrist. Go to the emergency room. Ask for help. It's okay not to be okay. Again, it's not a substitute. The podcast is not a substitute for therapy, but it's okay not to be okay. We love you. We need you in this world. So please be safe. Get the help that you need. It's okay to ask for help. So yeah, I want to get that. Definitely get that disclaimer, because I always forget to do the disclaimer, and it's so important. And if you want to be on the podcast, definitely email me at Bass City Entertainment LLC at gmail.com. Again, that's Bass City, BASCITY Entertainment. That's all one word. LLC. Again, that's all one word at gmail.com. Looking for guests. So we're going to talk about in the future, probably moving forward for the next season, thinking about switching things up at the podcast as a whole, certain topics to talk about. So that's a tease for later down the line, but it's something I've been thinking about, and working with my business coach. I hired a business coach a while ago, and something that we're working on, in a potential shift of the podcast. So with that being said, is there any other, keep following the podcast on social media, Instagram, X, Twitter. Elon made an announcement he might be charging folks. If you start charging me, I start seeing an account, I'm not paying to be on X. So I'm just not. So for now, follow me on basically Facebook, Meta, Instagram. Instagram's the same thing as freaking Meta's under the Meta umbrella, and on Twitter, X, whatever Elon wants to call it. So I'm on there. Follow, subscribe to the podcast. The subscriber numbers are up slowly but surely, and rate the podcast however you listen to the podcast. rate the podcast, leave comments, reviews. I appreciate all the love and support. And shout out to a fellow social worker. I don't have her name in front of me, but I was just Googling the podcast, and I saw an article about podcasts to listen to in 2023, and her name is Amanda. I don't remember her last name, but she's at LCSW. She wrote an article about podcasts, and the Social Work Rants podcast was on her list. So, and I emailed her. I was like, thank you for the love and support. So, the podcast is resonating with people. This is my version of giving back, based on our social work code of ethics to give back. So this is my version of giving back, using my communication degree from undergrad to and using social work and put the two together, and boom, podcast. So let me go to do this PT, and we will get cracking with the podcast episode. Until then, peace. Happy Friday, Feliz Viernes. We made it to the end of the work week, at least for most of us. Shout out to everybody. Hope everybody's doing well. Just wanted to come on real quick. If you've been following the stories this morning, hey, what's up? Feliz Viernes. Happy Friday. We made it to Friday. Shout out to any social worker / case manager that work on the weekends. I feel you. I used to work on Saturdays, and it freaking sucked. But I had to do. You gotta do what you gotta do. Especially nowadays, with everything going on with the economy and stuff like that, we gotta do what we gotta do. So, before I start the story time, I wanted to give a shout out to my fellow co-authors of the Latinx, Latine in Social Work Volume 2. They are speaking at the mental health, Hispanic Mental Health Conference in Dallas, Texas today. Shout out to Dr. Letty and all her staff at Caneta Center, doing amazing things out in Dallas, Fort Worth area, and in San Antonio. Hi. What's up? Happy Friday. So, they're out there having the event's actually going on right now as we speak. So shout out to anybody that's in Dallas for that conference. So, that being said, a new episode of the podcast is out. Shout out to Eric, who came on the podcast over a month ago. An Army veteran, a licensed clinical social worker in San Antonio. So it's kind of funny, the conference in Dallas and releasing the episode today. If you watched it live yesterday, I wasn't sure I was going to release it today because after what I shared like yesterday, like between 9/11 this week and the first day of Hispanic Heritage Month today. Happy Hispanic Heritage Month, Latino, Latinx, Latine Heritage Month, whatever term you like to use regarding that. So we here, we coming. So myself being Puerto Rican, first gen Puerto Rican, originally from New York, living in Delaware, navigating this small but crazy ass state. So and all that comes with it. So all right, so if you listen to season 2 episode 26, that was June of 2021. I was working as a school social worker in the school district I actually live in. I was working as a school social worker, and basically it was a temporary contract. When I got hired, literally the week that I started, my supervisor tells me he's going on paternity leave for like 3 months. So basically, hey, what's up? What's up? I'm starting the story. I literally just started. So he goes on paternity leave for 3 months, and basically tells me to report to like two other people, and one of my coworkers who's been there forever is gonna be, basically my mentor while he comes back. So he comes back from paternity leave like 3 months later. Hey, what's up? And basically, I get no call, no email. I'm literally brand new into the state of Delaware. Like I definitely in terms of the school system, like I never worked in a school before, and I had just moved to Delaware. It was October of 2020, so literally January of 2021. So literally, the week after the insurrection. What's up, my guy? How you doing? So literally the week after the uh, the insurrection in the Capitol, he calls me. He's like, I'm going on paternity leave, and he's out for 3 months. I have a wonderful mentor who I still talk to today, and like three of my past coworkers, I still keep in contact, and we talk and we bullshit whatever. And two of them I actually hung out with last night, which I'm gonna get to. So basically, he comes back was like April of 2021, and nothing. Like, he never called me to check up on me. Like, hey, how you been? How's the work going? How the kids doing? Talk about cases. Like, nothing. We literally had like 2 Zoom calls. I didn't meet him officially for the first time face to face until like the very beginning of May of 2021. And I didn't, how you do Zoom calls, and sometimes people don't look like how they look in person. And then now that I've been like starting to meet people that I usually see in person, or people that I've interviewed on a podcast, and you see them in person, and sometimes they look different from how they look on Zoom. So he looked different, and so I didn't even like recognize him at first until I saw the former supervisor is a Buffalo Bill fan. So so that's how, and had something related with the Bills, like in his possession. So like that, I put two and two together afterwards. So basically, literally 2 weeks later, I get an email stating that they're not renewing my contract. You would think I would have a conversation with the supervisor letting me know, hey, like, sorry, it's not going to work out or anything. No, never got a call, never got an email, no conversation. I end up calling him like, hey, I got this letter from HR, like, what's up? And long story short, he did not give me like any like legit reason why like my contract was not being renewed. And so he said he heard some things. I'm like, who did he hear things from? And he wouldn't say like who he heard from. Just say not renewing my contract. So, and my mentee was like very upset. Had the whole like staff like poor poor morale in the office for the last month like I was there. So not a good look in terms of you being a supervisor, and you need me because we have a lot of Spanish speaking population in the area moving in, and I'm like doing like the groundwork, registering kids to school, helping parents, and doing home visits in the middle of a pandemic, letting parents know like what is going on with what the district is doing, because many of the family members, many of the parents couldn't read or write in Spanish, so I had to do these visits. So all that being said, so after that, obviously I had to look for a job, and I literally had just moved in my house that February of 2021. I had just gotten a brand new car the week after I closed on my house. So basically I was like unemployed, and I got a mortgage to pay, car notes to pay, and like stuck that whole summer, like a whole summer ruined because I had to look for a new job to support myself, support my family. Luckily, working in the district, you get paid during the summer. So at least that held me down and was able to do what I need to do financially regarding that. So last night I go to the local high school game. The two local high schools in my area, they're playing each other, and supporting my community. My son go to the school, and obviously he wants to see his friends and all this other stuff. So guess who I run into after 2 years of not talking, of talking or nothing. Actually, I saw the former supervisor like over a year and a half ago at some school event, and I totally ignored him. Didn't want to say anything because as soon as I saw him, I literally wanted to freaking get up and punch him right in his freaking face. That's the honest truth. But I was there with my wife, and I was letting her know hey, that's the idiot that didn't renew my contract, and she got upset real quick, and to a point she wanted to walk over and give him a dirty look. I'm just don't be bothering him. He's don't give him that power, give him that satisfaction. So last night I go to the game and I run into my coworker, one of my former coworkers at the game, and we were chit chatting, whatever. And the former supervisor walks up to us. Yeah, she a ride or die. Janice, I love you, babe. And here comes the former supervisor, and he looks at me, and I didn't recognize him at first because it's been over a year, almost 2 years. And again, the most interaction I had was a freaking staff retreat, in-person retreat meeting at a park this whole time. So luckily he had his badge, his work ID. So I looked down real quick and see, oh yeah, that's definitely him. So I was cordial, hey, how you doing? I wasn't too sure that was him at first until I saw the badge. I'm okay, no, hi, how you doing? You would think as a former employee, just be cordial, at least shake a hand, even if you fake it, hey, how you doing? Good to see you again, blah, blah, blah. Nothing. Didn't stick his hand out to say hello, just, oh, hey, how you doing? His face looked like he's seen a ghost. It was a blast from the past. I'm yeah, I'm at a football game. I like football. I'm supporting my son's school, and I'm supporting my community. So was good. Just his face was I found it funny. Thinking back, I probably just laugh in his face. If I recognized him right away, I would have probably laughed in his face right then and there. And he was talking to my former coworker for real quick, and then my former coworker and I we go sit down to watch the game, and and it was I was just talking trash the whole time. And then about him, it was just his face was just blasting the past, almost what the heck you're doing here. It was so I guess you don't know I still live in the community, and my kids go to the school district that you work in. So that being said, so then my other former coworker comes later, and he sits with us, and he's he said that he ran into his boss, and was and he says, oh, I ran into Bass, and I was he said that to you? He was yeah. So I was how did he say it? It just almost looked he was shook that he saw me. I was bro, I'm not a person that looks for problems. I'm at a game. I'm not going to do something that's going to jeopardize the community, because we've had an issue last year about people doing some crazy stuff at the football games, to a point that nobody, unless you have your kid or you related to somebody that plays on the team, nobody in the community could go to the games to support the kids. So I'm not gonna do something to like jeopardize that for my community. So like, well, like I'm not. Don't let my like Deion Sanders, Coach Prime said recently. Don't let my confidence affect your insecurities. So no, he want to be insecure that he knew he messed up with how he handled his role as a supervisor, and since then I'm a not one time, 2-time published author. I got a top 10 podcast, social work podcast in the whole world. 2-time published author, doing speaking engagements. So I'm chilling. So uh, and I'm making more money in my social work job than I was working at the teachers doing the school social work things. So uh, keep up the great work. Keep writing that bullshit code of conduct at the school district that the kids get the first day of school, and then I ripped that shit up. I saw his name in the code of conduct book, and I ripped it up real quick and threw that shit right in the trash. So I'm like Heather B said, I'ma do me, you gotta do you. So that being said, that was my quick story. It was just funny seeing his face, and it's just like whatever, like you messed up, like, hey, and I'm probably gonna keep going to the games. I can't wait to high school basketball start, and I'll go to those games, and if you show up, you show up. Yeah, seriously, like no integrity, and that's one of the main things regarding social work that I gotta deal with, like, down here, and because I had a not good experience at the next school social work job I had, and to a point that, like, I refuse to do school social work again down here, even though I got my certification, unless like something really drastic, because I'm gonna do what I gotta do to support me and support my family. But if I can help it, I'm not doing school social work here in Delaware again. I'll do whatever to keep the certification going, just to have it in my back pocket, but never again, if I can help it. So so literally, like, that took place out, and I just found it funny that what happened like last night looked like I seen a ghost. So I literally was texting my friends, former coworkers, and just like putting memes, like making fun of him, like his face, like last night. So yeah. So that's my story. That, I don't know, just wanted to come on and share that on the IG. I'm gonna see if I can save it so I can put it on the YouTube channel, and we're gonna keep doing my thing, and God has certain plans that I'm trying to see what he's trying to do. So he working in my favor, and things are coming along in my business. At least you can laugh about it today. No, yeah, absolutely. Taking a picture of his face, it was like, it's like, it was like kind of crazy, like literally, like he saw a ghost. I'm like, yeah, I'm here, and what? My son go to school here, like, was good. Yeah, so dealing with that. And so, like I was saying, like, one of the biggest things, like, we're like struggling with is, like, in New York, depending where you work at, a lot of your immediate supervisors kind of look like you, for the most part, at least from my experience. And maybe the higher up, the next up, okay, might be white faces and stuff like that. Even though I've had like people like VPs who are black and brown, and still didn't know what the heck they were doing. So I've had white faces, for lack of a better word, do harm to us, and I've also had Puerto Ricans, African Americans do harm and cause harm too. So I've had both. So to come down here and majority, okay, your immediate supervisor is white, like the people above are white, and it's like you're one of the few in working in the spaces, and it's like, okay, who can you like kind of like piggyback and kind of talk to? You kind of like, on your own for the most part, and even if you have somebody. Exactly. Every brother isn't a brother, and every sister is absolutely correct. And I dealt with that at the last job I had with a brother who was my direct supervisor. So it was like not the greatest situation, but you move on, you learn, and between continue podcasting, the books and promoting my books and getting ready to gear up with the business. By the way, you can follow the business page, Bass City Consulting. Things are coming along. If you know anybody that needs financial education, who's a person of color, Gen X person of color, definitely have them hit me up. So that's my story. Hope everybody's well. Thank you everybody for coming on this live. And you could go back to episode 2, season 2, episode 26, in terms of the story. I pretty much gave you the rundown of that podcast episode of what happened with the job. That way, I just give you what happened last night and put 2 and 2 together. So, hope everybody's doing well. Everybody stay safe. We got flu season coming along. We got people still getting COVID, and all this other weird stuff like the Mother Nature is doing some crazy things. The global warming is real. So wherever you at, please stay safe. Have a good rest of the day. Enjoy your weekend. However you practice self-care.